This is lesson 5-6, fractions in simplest form. Our essential question, how do you write fractions in simplest form? And this picture here shows us two ways that we're going to talk about writing simplest form today. So one way is to simply just find a common factor and divide by it. So they gave us 12/20ths as their example. And we know 12 and 20 are both even numbers, so they could both be divided by 2. And that's what they did. And they got 6/10. But simplest form means you have to keep dividing it until it cannot be divided anymore evenly. So then they again knew that 6 and 10 could be divided by 2. So they got 3/5. And that's one way. Or the second way is to find the greatest common factor, which the greatest common factor of 12 and 20 is 4. And they just used the 4 to divide. So they divided 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So 3/5 is the answer again. So those are the two ways we're going to talk about. One vocab word, simplest form, is when the only common factor of the numerator and the denominator is 1. So that basically means you can't divide it anymore. Alright, so we have example number 1. They want us to find the greatest common factor of the numerator and the denominator. Then use the greatest common factor to write the fraction in simplest form. Alright, so our first step is to find the greatest common factor of 18 and 24. So let's go ahead and list the factors of 18. We have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, and 3 and 6. And I'm going to go ahead and write all those out in our line. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. And now let's go ahead and do 24. I'm going to do that up here. We have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And again, I'm just going to list those out. So I'm going to go ahead and put them right under the factors for 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. And I just wrote all the numbers that were right here. So remember, we go and we circle the factors that they have in common. So they have 1, 2, 3, 6, and that's it. So to find the greatest common factor, we have to pick the one that they share that is the biggest, and that would be 6. So now we take our fraction, 18 24ths, and we use our greatest common factor, which is 6, to divide. So we divide both our numerator and our denominator by 6. So 18 divided by 6 is 3, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. So that is our simplest form, 3/4. Example number 2, they want us to use repeated division until the fraction is in simplest form. So we don't have to find the greatest common factor. We can just find something that 35 and 49 can both be divided by and divide them. So I know that 35 and 49 can both be divided by 7. So 35 divided by 7 is 5, and 49 divided by 7 is 7. And then it's already in simplest form because 5 and 7, there is no number that they both can be divided by that's going to give me even numbers, whole numbers. I don't want any decimals. I don't want any remainders. So I don't even have to use repeated division because I just divided one time and I already got my answer. 5/7. Example number 3, they want us to find the greatest common factor again and then use that to divide the fraction so we can get it in simplest form. So let's find the greatest common factor. So we'll do 12, our numerator first. We have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. So I'm going to go ahead and write those out. And now I'm going to do our denominator, 36. We have 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, and 6 times 6. So again, just like I did before, I'm going to write them out right underneath of my first set of factors. And remember, even though I have 2 6s, I only have to put it once because it's the same number. Alright, now I'm going to circle the ones that they have in common. They both have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So the greatest one that they both share is 12. So I'm going to use 12 when I divide. So I take my fraction, 12/36, divided by 12. And remember, whatever I do to my numerator, I have to do to my denominator. So I divide both of them by 12. So 12 divided by 12 is 1, and 36 divided by 12 is 3. So that is my simplest form, 1/3. Our last example, use repeated division until the fraction is in simplest form. So 4 and 24. I know they're both even numbers, and even numbers can always be divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. Now I know that that is not in simplest form yet, because 2 and 12 can both be divided by 2 again. So we're not done, so we have to divide it by 2 again. So I'm just going to rewrite that fraction down here, and now I'm going to divide by 2 again. So that's what they mean by repeated division. So doing it again. And you don't always have to use the number 2. You could use something else, something greater, if there is a number that they both can be divided by. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now I know that that is in simplest form because there's nothing that 1 and 6 can both be divided by except for 1, but that's going to keep giving me the same answer. So 1/6 is my simplest form. Alright, practice problems. Your first two, you're finding the greatest common factor of the numerator and the denominator, and then just use that number to divide your numerator and your denominator, and that'll give you simplest form. Number 3, just use repeated division until you get it into simplest form, until you can't divide anymore. Don't forget a word problem or question, and rate your understanding.